Right now, the NBA landscape is buzzing, and if you're an NBA fan, this is one of those moments where everything feels like it could change overnight. Trades, rumors, pressure, expectations, and history all colliding at the same time. The Lakers are at the center of the storm once again. The trade deadline is creeping closer with multiple teams quietly positioning themselves. And meanwhile, Oklahoma City is doing something that doesn't just turn heads. It forces the entire league to pay attention. This is not just another season. This is a turning point, and the next few weeks could reshape the playoff picture in ways nobody fully sees coming yet. Let's start with the Los Angeles Lakers, because whether they're winning, losing, or stuck somewhere in between, the Lakers always dominate the conversation. The big question right now is simple but loaded with consequences. Do the Lakers need to make a move, or can they realistically ride this roster into the postseason and hope everything clicks at the right time? On paper, the Lakers still have star power. LeBron James continues to defy time, playing at an elite level well into his late 30s, and Anthony Davis, when healthy, remains one of the most impactful two-way players in the league. The problem is not the stars. The problem is everything around them. This Lakers team has been wildly inconsistent. One night, they look like a dangerous playoff threat, defending at a high level, moving the ball, and controlling the pace. The next night, they struggle with spacing, give up open shots, and look a step slow against younger, more athletic teams. That inconsistency is what fuels the trade rumors. When you have LeBron on your roster, the clock is always ticking. Every season matters. Every missed opportunity feels magnified. The Lakers don't have the luxury of waiting for long-term development. They are in win-now mode, whether they want to admit it or not. The biggest issue continues to be roster balance. The Lakers need reliable shooting, perimeter defense, and players who can consistently perform in high-pressure moments. Too often, LeBron and AD are asked to carry too much of the load, especially late in games. When defenses collapse on them, the Lakers have to make opponents pay from the outside, and that's where things get shaky. You can't win deep playoff series in today's NBA without spacing. The Lakers know this. The front office knows this. And the rest of the league knows this too. So the real debate isn't whether the Lakers should make a move. It's what kind of move actually makes sense. A blockbuster trade sounds exciting, but those deals are expensive and risky. Giving up future assets for a short-term upgrade can backfire quickly if injuries hit or chemistry doesn't develop. On the other hand, standing pat and hoping for internal improvement feels like a gamble that wastes another year of LeBron's greatness. That tension is exactly why the Lakers are one of the most fascinating teams to watch as the deadline approaches. Now zooming out from the Lakers, the trade deadline itself is shaping up to be one of the most intriguing in recent memory. There isn't one clear superstar openly demanding a trade, but there are plenty of teams hovering around the playoff line who believe they are one move away from contention. These are the teams that usually become aggressive because they see an opportunity to separate themselves from the pack. The Western Conference, in particular, is a battlefield. The margin between a top seed and a play-in spot is razor thin, and one smart trade can completely change a team's trajectory. Teams like the Golden State Warriors are quietly evaluating their options. They've got championship DNA, but they're also dealing with aging stars and a young core that hasn't fully stabilized. Do they push their chips in one more time, or do they protect their future? The Dallas Mavericks are another team to watch closely. With a generational talent leading the way, every move is about maximizing the window. Defense and consistency have been their biggest needs, and the deadline could be their chance to address that. Then there are the teams nobody is talking about loudly, but front offices around the league are watching very carefully. These are the teams with flexibility, draft capital, and young players that other franchises want. They can act as facilitators in multi-team deals, or they can strike when a vulnerable contender overpays. These are the silent winners of deadline season, the teams that don't make headlines immediately but look brilliant a year later. In the Eastern Conference, the picture isn't much clearer. Several teams are good, but not great. They're competitive, but flawed. That's usually the recipe for deadline chaos. When a team believes the conference is wide open, desperation creeps in. And desperation leads to bold moves. Expect at least one trade that shocks people, not necessarily because of the player involved, but because of the timing and the price paid. While all of this is unfolding, there's a team in the Western Conference that deserves far more attention than it's getting, and that's the Oklahoma City Thunder. What OKC is doing right now isn't just impressive. It's historic. This is a franchise that committed fully to a rebuild, embraced patience, accumulated assets, and trusted internal development. And now that patience is paying off in a way that few rebuilds ever do. The Thunder are not just winning games. They're winning games the right way. They play fast, they defend, they share the ball, and they don't rely on one-dimensional offense. Their young core plays with confidence and composure that you usually only see in veteran teams. Night after night, they compete against the league's best and look like they belong in those conversations. That alone changes how teams view them. They're no longer a feel-good story. They're a legitimate threat. What makes OKC's run even more remarkable is how ahead of schedule it feels. Most rebuilds take years before a team even sniffs contention. The Thunder skipped steps. They didn't just become respectable, they became dangerous. And they did it while maintaining one of the most valuable collections of draft assets in the league. That combination is terrifying for opponents. It means OKC can either continue to grow naturally or make a move that accelerates their timeline even further. The historic aspect of their chase isn't just about wins and losses. It's about how they're doing it. They're competing at a high level without sacrificing flexibility. They're setting records and establishing an identity that could define the franchise for the next decade. When young players experience success early, it changes expectations. It builds confidence, and it creates a culture that attracts talent instead of chasing it. Now imagine how this all intersects with the trade deadline. The Thunder don't have to do anything. That's the scary part. They can sit back, watch contenders scramble, and still feel good about their future. But if the right opportunity presents itself, they're one of the few teams that can strike without mortgaging tomorrow. That puts pressure on everyone else. Teams like the Lakers feel that pressure the most, because while OKC is rising, the Lakers are fighting time. This contrast between franchises highlights a bigger theme in the NBA right now. Team building matters more than ever. Shortcuts are risky. Patience can be powerful. And the deadline isn't just about making moves. It's about making the right moves. Some teams will overreact. Some will hesitate. And a few will find that perfect balance that pushes them into true contention. As fans, this is what makes this stretch of the season so exciting. Every game feels like an audition. Every role player suddenly matters more. Front offices are watching closely, analyzing lineups, matchups, and advanced metrics, trying to decide who fits and who doesn't. Coaches are experimenting. Players feel the tension. You can see it in the way teams play as the deadline gets closer. For the Lakers, the question will linger until a move is made or the deadline passes. Can this roster compete with the best teams in a 7-game series? Can they survive nights when LeBron rests or a D gets doubled out of the game? If the answer isn't a confident yes, then change becomes inevitable. Whether it's a small tweak or a significant overhaul, doing nothing might be the biggest risk of all. For the teams watching from the shadows, this is their moment to strike. Windows in the NBA don't stay open long. One injury, one bad contract, one wrong decision can close it fast. That's why deadlines create urgency. That's why fans and analysts obsess over rumors. Because sometimes the difference between a second-round exit and a finals run is one decision made in February. And for Oklahoma City, this moment is about proving sustainability. Can they maintain this level? Can they handle playoff pressure when the lights get brighter and the scouting gets tighter? If they can, then this historic chase won't just be a regular season story. It will be the foundation of something much bigger. As we move closer to the deadline, expect the noise to get louder. Expect speculation, leaks, and last-minute surprises. Some teams will disappoint their fan bases by standing still. Others will shock everyone with bold decisions. And a few will quietly set themselves up for long-term success without anyone noticing until it's too late. This is why the NBA never sleeps. The drama doesn't wait for the playoffs. It builds right now, in moments like this, where questions are unanswered and futures are undecided. Whether you're focused on the Lakers' next move, the chaos of the trade deadline, or OKC's incredible rise, one thing is clear. The league is changing, and the next chapter is being written in real time. So stay locked in, because what happens next will shape the rest of the season and possibly the next few years of NBA history. If you love basketball, this is the stretch you live for. The pressure, the possibilities, and the moments that turn good teams into great ones. And no matter which side you're on, one thing is guaranteed. The story is far from over.